4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I need your utmost cooperation, more so than usual, because there's an exorbitantly number of people not here today because of band camp and sicknesses and Encore Drama Festival and things. So we are filming it. So that's why I need you guys really focused and paying attention, because we're gonna post that on Edmodo or somewhere else. So that way people who aren't here are able to still get the same information that you're getting today. Okay, so I need you guys with me so you can go through it really, really concisely and succinctly. Okay? Alright, so last class you guys wrote your mechanical systems unit final, as you guys know in science. And so we're starting the next unit today. Technically, actually, will be Wednesday, but we're introducing it today, fresh and saltwater systems. It's our last unit of studying science for the year. Yay. And we hope to wrap it up, and we will wrap it up on May 9th. Okay? Just a little heads up, we were going to do a mechanical systems unit final, sorry, did I say May 9th? Yeah. And then May 29th. Because Marco looked at Carl and I went, what? Oh yeah, May 29th. Yeah, it's 5 days. No, May 29th. We were going to do an error analysis on the mechanical systems final, but we decided against that because of the people who aren't here. So we will at some point find some time where you'll get your tests back once everyone writes them, of course, and then we'll give you all the right answers, and you hang on to that for studying purposes. Okay, so at some point, guys, thanks. At some point we will do an error analysis. Okay. All right, so starting on fresh and saltwater systems, basically we're structuring this unit a little bit differently than we've structured other ones in the past. We've basically taken what's worked in other units and built a little bit more inquiry, but more structured inquiry, because we learned from mechanical systems. And we're developing an inquiry-based study unit for this, but it is a little bit more, like I said, structured. Okay? On your yellow sheet that you guys have in front of you, you have your marking guide, which gives us a breakdown of all of the days of the units. Okay, so we've got today's the 4th, it's the intro. Case 1 will be starting on Wednesday, all the way through, and then it says your unit final on May 29th. So this is really excellent for those people who aren't here certain days. Hey, Bewley Ferg, what did I miss on May 25th? Go back to your sheet, because it's very, very clear as to what's when. Okay? We'll be completing 6 cases in this unit of study, and through that, we will be hitting off all of our learning objectives. All of these learning outcomes are set by Alberta Education, so it's nothing to do with Westmount or anything. It's as a grade 8 science learner, these are your expectations to learn within the unit. As have all units been, we've given you the outcomes, and we expect you to check them off once that outcome is hit. Okay, so pretty straightforward. We will be taking these in on May 29th, the same day that you write your final. Okay? Questions so far? Alright, let's leave the yellow ones aside, so again, don't lose those because we will be taking them in. And let's just kind of flip through the overview of your white sheet. Okay? So basically, the final unit will center on relevant real-world issues concerning water properties, distribution, composition, and general overall awareness. Okay? We have 9 classes in this unit. So overview, I kind of basically touch base on that. Problem-based learning, whereby it makes your learning more 3-dimensional and interesting, versus just here's your textbook, give me some questions. That's lower level thinking. It's basic regurgitation and frankly not very interesting. Okay? So that's why we're going to the next level. We're creating more 3-dimensional real-world issues where you're going to get the information from the textbook and solve real-life problems. So it's a nice symbiotic relationship. Okay? Unlike mechanical systems where there were 3 subsections, we're back to 4 subsections where we've got 1.0, humans depend on water supply and quality, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, it's all there. Okay? Here's the logistics. So, you might be saying to yourself, okay, Bewley, I hear you that we're going to do something a little bit funky and different, but what is it going to look like? Okay, those of you who need that scaffolding, that structure, that's me. So here it is. Logistics are we're going to be working entirely off, oh, who's at the door? Oh, hello! Guys, I need to introduce you to a very special person who's going to be guiding us through this unit of study. Please give a nice Westmount warm welcome to James Pond.
Good morning.
Guys, we need to respect Mr. Pond. He's kind of a big deal.
So, I'm here on behalf of the Canadian government on a mission, and unfortunately due to cutbacks, the economy and whatnot, I can't quite hire the normal staff that I usually have do all the work need to do. So instead, we're going to hire you guys, because you're free.
Yes.
Great.
Are we getting paid?
So,
can we get paid?
Inspiring Learning. It's a wonderful book. You guys will be doing some cases for me that the government has asked me to fulfill. I know I have one coming up on Wednesday that I'll be sending to your mailbox. Hopefully at some point you will meet my associate as well, Any Money, as she and I tend to work together on these cases. Are you okay, young man?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Now, unfortunately, bureaucracy is tedious. And even though I know I'm doing the right thing all the time, they want it all documented. In a certain way, of course, too. So, let me show you what they want. I believe you have a little sheet of paper with you already. Yes. So, logistics. Naturally, we have gone paperless, because we're trying to save the environment. In Canada, we love our trees. So, everything will be an electronic portfolio, all on Google Drive, which is a wonderful tool. And you'll be sharing it with your teachers, because I don't really want to read all your work. That's your teacher's job. Your teacher will forward me the best ones.
Yep, we will.
So you're going to share it with your teachers. I believe their addresses are right there for your convenience.
And Mr. Pond, I just have to stress that those of you who decide to not send us to your information to the right email address, we cannot, me and Mr. Ferg, I don't know where he went, but we cannot mark that work. So make sure that you use the addresses scott.ferg at WCS-G and jacqueline.bewley at WCS-G. If you don't do that and we have to request access, not good. Okay? We'll talk more about that in a second.
Is it capitalized?
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
Good question. So, you can work either groups of 1 or 2 or 3.
Maximum of 3.
Okay, within your classes. And that's just going to be one document for the entire group.
All
for
6 cases.
all of your cases. Because the teachers apparently don't want to go and find all the different documents. So put them all together in one. Easy. Excellent. We also want it named, they all want it named, Fresh and Saltwater Systems with your student names. Just as it's shown there.
So colon, and then the names.
And I'll give you an example. This is a case that I dealt with last year with my grade 7s.
8.
No 7s. Right here. I gave it the new name like you're supposed to have. Fresh and Saltwater Systems, colon, James, Any Money. Does that name amuse you? Now, as you can see, even though I frequently commonly see no title or name or any of that data that we used to require on hard copies on digital ones, you should still include it. It's very useful. Now, the title is again right here, similar title. And this case last year was for structures and forces. And the problem was your roof blew off. And so we said, well, what can we do with this? Now, of course, I gave them a whole case write-up or a video, depending upon how I felt that day. But it naturally self-destructed within 10 seconds. So they had to write a case summary. So they summarized the case. You can have a look at that there, you can read through it. Then they said, what do we know? Facts from that case. And there might not be very many often. Sometimes I have no clue what's happening. And then there are ideas. And that's where you would brainstorm, either in your small groups or by yourself. If you are by yourself and you want to brainstorm with a friend, that's fine as well. What are some possible solutions that you need to investigate for that problem? Can we turn it into a used aquarium? That's not in there, but that's a great idea. Right, so those are the first 3 steps. And this should only take 5 to 10 minutes. Summarize the case, what do we know, facts, and then brainstorming ideas. Okay, first 10 minutes of class. Then, the meat of it. What do we need to research? Obviously, if you have ideas, they're probably not well refined yet. They're just ideas. You need to find evidence, research, to support those ideas, or find out if they are feasible. So you'll come up with research questions to guide your research. You might find some fancy charts. That's not a fancy chart. A survey perhaps, and then you're going to come back to class the next day. You should have a conclusion as well.
But the conclusion
Possible
doesn't happen
solution.
until the next day.
Yeah, a possible solution in your head. What might be the best way of dealing with that problem? When you come back to the next class, we will start with a 5 to 10 minute powwow. Discussing in small groups, 2 or 3 in groups together. What did you find? What questions did you have? Discussing it together. And as your groups, you'll be taking notes on what other information did they have? Did they point out anything you missed in your proposals? Etc., etc. Important things. Then you might want to refine your conclusion or solution. That is the format. Any questions about the format and all of those steps that we expect, which are perfectly highlighted on the backside?
So all of them are in your document there, and I've also written them on the board. So the first 4 are done the day we're doing the case. So on Wednesday, we'll be doing case 1, all 4 things we done class. Then on Friday, we'll quickly powwow case 1. You'll write up your conclusion, and then we start case 2. Okay? It's the logistics of how that's going to work. Questions? Okay.
Excellent. I like smart kids that don't need to ask questions. All right, now, you'll notice also on there that it says we want a table of contents and heading 1. Google Docs is stupendous for this. It has built-in headings that you can choose and a table of contents. So with the default here, I'll show you. If I'm on this line, I can easily change it to normal text or to heading 1. And there's even a shortcut, Control-Alt-1. And if you forget, we're going to post a video that shows you. You can also insert table of contents. And that's what's already there. Whenever you add a new case, for example, if this was actually a case right here, I can just click on the table of contents and refresh, and it'll add that new line. The table of contents just allows your teachers to get down to the bottom cases really easily. And it's good for organization. Now, with that said, is there anything else I must address?
I don't think so. For this point.
Excellent. I look forward to finding your conclusions and submitting them with my name on them to the government.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Pond. We'll see you soon.
Oh, do you have a question for Mr. Bond?
Yes. How do you plan to deal with Spectre? What? It's a joke because James Pond and Spectre is a new James Bond.
Ah.
Oh, ha
Inspector Fish.
ha. What?
Thank you, Mr. Pond. Bye. Okay, so let's recap that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5. I need about 5 more minutes, then you're free. 1, thanks guys. All right, so to recap, we'll be working on 6 cases through this whole unit. And through your work in all 6 cases, all of the learning outcomes will be hit. Okay? Each case, you will be working on these 6 ideas. They have to be complete and accurate. Now, the nice thing about, oh, hi, Mr. Ferg, you missed James Bond again.
Again?
I know.
Every time.
Always. It's quite lovely. You should meet him. What was I saying? So yeah, so the nice thing about working on a Google Doc is that it allows myself and Mr. Ferg to go in at any time throughout the course of this unit and check on your work. So when we're working on case number 3, all of case 1 is complete, and most of case 2 is complete, right? When we're working on case 5, all of 1, all of 2, all of 3, part of part 4 will all be done, right? So it's really important that you're on top of that, because if we go in at a given time, and we will do spot checks, we'll do random participation, citizenship, we'll take a look at your depth of analysis, guys, we'll create a Google Doc right away, and you'll basically title it Fresh and Saltwater Systems, colon, and then your group member names separated by commas, okay? 1, 3 people max. Again, I see your hand, give me a second. The danger, again, with working with groups of 3 is that if Nidhi says, hey, you take facts, you take ideas, I'll do this, then Mitty's only getting a portion of that information and she's not learning all of the information, right? Think back to Southern Systems, maybe Kay did with the EMAC, maybe Kay did digestive system, Rachel did respiratory, and then maybe did excretory, and then you're missing out on the other two that you don't do, right? So make sure you're very, very aware that you get all of the information at every time, or at all times. Resin?
Do we have the same group for all cases, or can we
Yes.
change?
No, same group for all 6 cases, for a month. Yeah, good question. Right, so and that's why you guys create one Google Doc. Mr. Ferg and I will create a little folder, we'll have the title of the class, and then once you create your document, your one document, we just put you into that class, and then that way we can go in and check at any given time. So in other words, you have to stay on top of it. There'll be minimal stand and deliver instruction. It's primarily self-discovery, research. You'll be using your textbook in conjunction with other avenues of research, so online, e-magazines, online journals, hard copy, National Geographics if you can find it. Water is a very prevalent, real, global now issue, obviously, so there's a lot of information floating around there that you'll be able to find and utilize. Okay?
After this, are we just going to do final exam review?
Like in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're having a final on June 16th, I think it is. So yeah, so we it's about 3 weeks to study for the whole final. Okay? That's why we wrap it up in May.
June 19th? It's the same week, I think.
Yeah, because
It's the Tuesday and the Thursday.
16th and Thursday's the LA is on the Monday.
Yeah.
So, as far as assessment is concerned, I need a couple more minutes, guys. There's 4 key facets for assessment. Your portfolio is primarily the main avenue of assessment, and it's content-based. How accurate is your information? How much effort have you put forth in towards this? We can tell if you've just quickly done it in 5 minutes versus, okay, here's some possible ideas to the solution. Now, out of those ideas, all right, where do I need to put my research? And then after our research, we'll powwow a little bit with another group and go, oh, Kaden, that's a really cool idea. I never thought of that. I'm going to make notes in my powwow, right, about what Kaden said. And then I might reshape my conclusion based upon the powwow. The idea being is you don't sit there independently and sort of research ideas and come up with ideas solely on your own. You want to be able to actually communicate and talk to other people because maybe they come up with a solution that you wouldn't have thought of. 2 brains or multi-brains are better than 1, right? So you can't actually do your conclusion the same class that the case is assigned because it's a bit more complex and more three-dimensional, if that makes sense, okay? So your content of the portfolio is very important. Daily participation and process rubrics. Process rubrics, I did those 25 marks for my kids on how well you guys worked in the design component of the mechanical systems. Same sort of idea. If you're in class and you're not working, you're not focused, you're talking to your neighbors, you're going for walks, you're working on LA, you're not doing anything, then you will hopefully be prepared to have a 5 out of 25 or a 0 out of 25. If you're focused on science, you're reading, you're researching, you're adding your information to your Google Doc, I will give you a 25. Okay, I will give that to you. I'm not afraid to give that to you. As Mr. Furk, okay? So you're marking yourself. We will take these guys in. Don't lose these yellow sheets. We'll take them in on May 29th, the same day that you write your final. Okay, as per usual. You'll be doing a self-assessment for fresh and saltwater systems, how you feel like you work throughout the unit. And lastly, you are marked on your unit final. Okay? So as far as establishing, okay, you must read 1.0 for this day, or you must read 2.0 for this day. You'll find that James Pond is pretty good in organizing the cases by order of the textbook for the most part, but we might get to case 3 and there might be information from 4.0 in the textbook, or we might go back to 1.0. So be prepared that your textbook is an excellent starter resource and that you can kind of springboard off of that and do some external research when/if the need arises, okay? So we're not going to sit here and go, you must have 1.0 read by this day, or you must have 2.0 read. You still need to read, you still need to take some notes and be aware of it because it will help you prep for the cases. Okay? Yes,
Question.
Mr. Ferg.
Since I missed it, did James Pond tell them the name of the company we know?
No, you didn't?
So traditionally we've always, when we've been contracted by the government, we now become the Puddle Jumpers Incorporated.
So you guys are puddle jumpers. Come on, it's adorable. It sounds like puddle jumpers.
You guys are puddle
You
jumpers.
guys are putting forth Mr. Pond, this big man, Mr. Pond, runs this Pond International Shipping, I think it's called.
I don't think he likes me. He's always avoiding me.
I know, I think so too. Don't take it personally. He owns Pond International Shipping, and so rather than paying people to think, child labor free. Like, so he's like, smart, I'm gonna hit 2 birds with 1 stone. So he's gonna get you guys to all the work for him. So you are creating these cases as a means of a proposal for James Pond, right? That's the idea.
So he is profiting off of our work.
Absolutely.
He's manipulative.
Child labor is illegal.
Guys, I don't want to say get used to it because that's kind of, derogatory, but
Then that's child labor.
Can we sue the school for this?
try.
Can we sue
Get very far.
It was a big leap.
James Pond, he owns Pond International Shipping. He's dotted his I's and
He's
crossed
a
his T's.
secret agent. I don't know if you can come on.
You don't have a leg to stand on.
We can sue him for his wrong.
You don't have a leg to stand on.
We have direct evidence that he's wanting us
He's a
to
very
do
serious
child labor
individual.
for him.
But again, like he's done his research. So let's wrap up. Last couple thoughts, and then I will send Mr. Ferg's kids back to Mr. Ferg's room. For the rest of the class, guys, in the next hour, you guys are going to read 1.0 in your textbook. We'll give you some class time to do that, get familiar with some concepts, take some notes, that sort of thing. Okay? And then on Wednesday, I will post the case. I'm assuming that I'll probably just be posting the cases on Edmodo because it's the easiest thing. I'll just go case 1 on Wednesday, and then you can kind of get started. Okay? So Wednesday's class is all yours. And then we'll start Friday's class by doing a quick powwow, 5-10 minutes. You take notes, wrap up your conclusion, then we'll start case 2.
Yes, puddle jumper.
Can we make groups between classes?
No.
No, but you could still discuss ideas with the other members of the other class.
Good question. It's just because I've got my group that I have to mark, and Mr. Berg has his group, and it's hard to cross-reference. Any other last questions?
Nope.
Okay. Bye, Berg.
All right.